Good morning, everybody. How are you today? Why am I getting that echo? What have I done? Oh, and Sylvia was on. Okay, great. So good morning, everybody, and glad to be here this morning. And once again, it's 7:30. So when it's 7:30, we expect that you're going to go let everybody know that we're live and ready. And today we are looking at a very exciting subject. Now, just before that, let me mention, as always, that we run these series Monday to Friday. So anytime you join us, on whichever platform you join us on, whether be it on YouTube, whether be it here on Facebook or on LinkedIn, we run these Monday to Friday. We call them the 7:30 Academy. We've been doing this for 3 years and running. Very proud of our record, by the way. And so every Monday, it's yours truly running all my subjects around unleashing your destiny. Tuesday, we have on Sylvia running the Mindset Change program. On Wednesday, we have an open market setup. So usually we have guests, we have sponsors. And then Thursday, we have Prosperity for Your Soul with Dr. Nelly Kangwa. And then on Friday, we have Dr. Jackie with Healthy Tips. So very exciting plethora of products and servings which are there to help you shape your destiny and direction. And remember, by associating, by being part of these calls, they are life-changing. I know for a fact I've been bumping and running into so many different people. Just last week, I had a very, very eventful call with somebody that had been watching our series on bootstrapping, and they were very, very moved by it. I know for a fact that a lot of people have connected with Mindset Change program for Auntie Sylvia and with Dr. Nelly because of these morning calls. Anybody who's serious about their progress and success, you want to be part of this. I mean, my friend Matson Nando, Coach Matson, always says, it's amazing how people call crying, asking for mentorship, but they can't even commit to being part of these morning calls. For me, if you can't commit to being part of these morning calls, then you're really just a joker, sorry to say. Especially if you're going to come and ask any one of us for so-called guidance, or if you ask for us to be able to help you to be part of what's going on. I think for me, that's very corny, that's very iffy, that's very messed up. So you can't claim, hey, I need guidance, I need to be shown, I need to be guided, help me, become my mentor. And you're not willing to pay a simple price, like just showing up every morning on time and being part of these calls. It doesn't cost you anything but your time and your bundles. I think that's the least you can pay if you're serious about mentorship. So a lot of people who ask me for mentorship, I always point them here and I point them to our various coaching programs. You can see them scrolling at the bottom of the screen. If you're interested, get in touch and be part of that. Now, I'm here today talking about the 8 psychological traps, which is basically bound and gagged. That's the subject I'm looking at, bound and gagged. And I like the term bound and gagged because it's a very charismatic terminology, bound and gagged. But at the same time, it exemplifies and demonstrates what we speak about. When I say that a lot of people are trapped in these things, these psychological traps, a lot of people think that these psychological traps are some kind of demonic activity. And I'm really focusing on charismatics when I say this. And the truth of the matter is that there is so much amplifying of the devil and demons that we forget or are not aware that a lot of the things that are trapping us and keeping us from progressing aren't demons and ancestral traps. They are basically just your mind. And that's why Jesus spoke so powerfully and said, and I quote once more, he said, which of you wanting to rule a house does not first, bind the strong man? So the strong man is your most formidable enemy for starters. Once you bind the strong man, then you will find that you have access to the house. So the key lies in binding the strong man. But what is the strong man? I've said it repeatedly. The strong man in the life of most people is your subconscious mind, because that's the strong man. That's the one that really holds on to everything that you are. I went through great detail in the previous episode highlighting how the subconscious works and how it becomes the tell-all and bind-all of everything you are, and how it's so important to find a way to take hold of your subconscious mind and align it to what you consciously want to see. For most people, they don't realize it, but they're bound by it. And that's why Jesus said that you cannot take over a house unless you first bind the strong man. So now there are a couple of traps out there which have been binding a lot of people, and they're essentially divided into 3 traps. There are 8 traps in total under 3 different categories. In my last presentation, we looked at belief traps. I showed you how beliefs are so foundational and they're so powerful that they dictate everything else. Beliefs are the unwritten commands of your life. And for a lot of people, they do not realize it, but these unwritten commands run the show. And they run the show whether you like it or not. They control everything about your life, and that's just how it works. And the scary part, it's all psychological and subliminal. Yes, it is right under your nose, and this is such a powerful factor. It controls virtually everything that you try to do. And so for a lot of people, they find themselves trapped in these belief traps. And we looked at 2 of them last week. We looked at the first, 3 actually. There was the Truman Show, where one never realizes they're even bound. I mean, that's the worst form. You don't even realize you're bound. Then the second trap is what we call the Mirage. The Mirage trap. This is the one where you actually don't believe in yourself. You are so battered, so hurt, so messed up that even when there's an opportunity to come out, you never do, because you don't believe you have what it takes. You don't believe that you have what is necessary to succeed. Then the third trap is called the inevitability trap, which is the trap where you believe you are stuck in this fatal place. You know, that's a very African thing. A type of behavior. Like for us, we're just, this is it. This was fated. This was designed. There is nothing we can do about this. This is just how life is. For me, I dispute that immensely. It's one of the most deadly belief traps I know. The fatal trap. You know, the other day I was actually asking a friend of mine, I mean, a very interesting colleague I interact with on social media, and he was insinuating, you know, we're talking about a very, very controversial subject around marriage, and he was insinuating that sometimes, especially for us men, I made a very, very controversial statement to state that I believe that all marital breakdown and the inability to keep a marriage ultimately is the man's responsibility. Now, that's a very, very controversial statement, and I've got no time to go into it. But one thing that this gentleman said is, he said, my brother, because I basically, because people said, no, but Rev, what if the person is already messed up? What if the person is the one that's causing all the mess? I mean, it's the other person, it's the woman, it's not the man, he's trying his best, but the woman. Then I said, look, if the woman is causing the mess, then the question is, how did that man choose that woman? So it shows his inability to have the wisdom to choose right. And to be honest, all of us have fallen in that trap. Then he says, oh, well, Rev, you know, sometimes one can try their best, but these things are fated. If you're meant to meet this person and for them to become a part of your life, you'll find that either way, inevitability will lead to you. And that's what I was talking about. I said, no. If you use the term inevitability, then you're insinuating that stuff is set and we are just pawns and we have no choice. Everything just inevitably works out to be whatever it is. That is a fatalistic view, and I disagree with it. Why? Because God, if all is fated, then why is God judging man? Then there should be no judgment. People are created evil, people are created good. These are going to be that way, those are going to be that way. So does it mean he created people to burn them in hell? Because I believe in the concept of hell. I don't think so, and I disagree immensely. So which means it's not that people are fated to die and go to hell, and that's how it is, and there's nothing they can do. No, they can choose not to. They can choose not to. So in the same manner, we can make choices as individuals. We can refuse to allow fate to dictate to us. And that's where my very favorite quote from one of my favorite movies states, "Do you believe in fate, Neo?" So one of my favorite quotes. And the truth is, do we believe in fate? No, I don't. I believe everybody formulates their own path. But you see, that path is held by your belief system. That belief system dictates dictates where you go. Your belief is like a rudder on a ship. Wherever you point it, that's where it goes. The sad part is you're not even the one pointing it. It's this beliefs programmed by society that point you wherever you need to go. So now I want to look at two traps, very, very powerful traps in the social trap space. These are what we call pits of social dynamics. So we're using the pit. Oopsie daisies, just 1 minute. Oh no, what's going on here now? Sorry, just a moment. I don't know if you know my phone is gone on okay, sorry. Yeah, I thought I had my phone had disappeared. So I'm saying social traps. So these are pits of social dynamics. Now, social traps are very powerful. And let me now just name them to you. Now, these traps are the product of relationships with other people. So relationships which might be actively unhealthy, or relationships whose success we take too much responsibility for. So either there's the unhealthiness or the success of those relationships we take too much responsibility for. So there's two social traps here, and I tell you, these traps are just profound. So the first one is called prison of solidarity. That's the prison of solidarity. So this is now under social trap. So what exactly is that? So let's go back to our proverbial imaginary pit. You could actually leave this pit. So you're in a pit, you don't like the pit, you can leave the pit, but there's someone in there with you. So you could leave the pit, but you have a colleague, a friend, and they're in the pit. And if you think of leaving, you feel so guilty, or they get so sad when they find out that you will abandon them. Woo! I don't know, that one I even have to pause because it's such a tough one. You know, that type of thing, this particular prison even borders on a lot of things, even our faith as believers, our lives. There's so many components that this thing touches. It feels cathartic to even speak about it. Now, and I use the word cathartic, which of course means healing. Yes, but there's a deep sense of dread, even as I say this to you. What is a prison of solidarity? Let me give you two very powerful examples. Example number one. Your roommate is severely depressed, okay? You are struggling to cope because their depression is infecting you, okay? It's now affecting you. It's beginning to mess with you, this depression they're going through, right? But you know that their life is improved because you are there, okay? And you don't want to move out for fear that they'll even be more depressed. They could actually even go or end up somewhere worse. And you know, this particular one is so deep because there are so many people we know in that kind of situation. Have you ever found yourself almost feeling like a messiah trying to help people, and maybe you have a friend and they're going through some stuff, and you're there and you know that this is not working? Another example, you committed to completing a project. Now, this one is really deep. You committed to completing a project with a friend, but it has been beset by expensive and time-consuming setbacks. It is seriously affecting the quality of your life, but you don't want to leave your friend alone to deal with it. In other words, you're partners, but your friend is the reason you are being set back. Your friend is the reason things are not working out. They are just not coming through. They are not, you know, they just don't have what it takes. They are either a mess, maybe they are alcoholics, or maybe they are going through marital problems. Whatever is going on in their life is so bad, and it's spilling over into your competence. Now, you're partners, okay? You're partners in business, and you're supposed to be moving together, but you realize very painfully that this individual is your setback. I tell you, I know for a fact that even many of you listening to me right now, this is scary. This is right up there with the other scary bits. How many of you right now have relationships, whether they are business, whether they are marital, whether they are Christian in terms of ministry and service, where you know against all knowledge that the fact that you're still with this person is your holdback? And it's one of the scariest spaces. This prison of solidarity is where many people will rather lose opportunities in order to stay on with their friend. So they are literally becoming a savior of some sort. But it's setting you back. It's messing your opportunities. So my question is, do you cut off that relationship, or do you stay? So that's a psychological trap, because it's got nothing to do with reality and everything to do with making very hard decisions. So my question is, are you willing to make that hard decision and cut off the relationship? I know most people don't. They don't. They just are too afraid to deal with that kind of negativity, because they know that this is going to lead to some serious issues. But you know what? It's a psychological trap. And so as you're listening to me, you've got to make that hard decision. Are you willing, or are you not? So this psychological trap has kept many people from progressing. This one, prison of solidarity, I know for a fact most people are not progressing because of this. So let's ask ourselves seriously. Do you have what it takes to make that hard decision and break free? Or are you going to remain and become the savior of this person that's obviously drowning? Lifeguards have a saying that when a man is drowning, you got to throw them a lifesaver. You can't go in there and rescue them, because many times they're kicking and they're panicked. They're so panicked that when you go in there, they will literally grab onto you with what I call life-dependent type of grabbing. And for many lifesavers, you end up drowning with the person because they are in a panic mode. They're not thinking. So many times, lifesavers will either throw a floating buoy so that they grab onto that, or they'll knock out the person and then just carry them. Then when they get wherever they're going, resuscitate them. But they're not going to jump in the water to save the person, because most times those people may end up causing you to drown as well. Unless they're a small little person, like a little child, those are easy. You can jump in as a lifesaver and straight away, no pressure there. But for an adult, it's quite dangerous and it is not advisable. Many of us, okay, I kind of got myself out of that. So many of you are in this one, prison of solidarity. Now, what I want to do, let me do a little social experiment. I normally don't do this. I want you to type in the comments a yes if you are, or a no, I'm not. So yes, I am. No, I'm not. You can type one of those. And the reason you're going to type that is because when we're done with this call, I want you now to think seriously and formulate a strategy of how you're going to get yourself out of this prison of solidarity. But many times, we joke with my friends. I have a terminology I've come to love so much. A lot of us need to have a come to Jesus talk with a lot of our friends, with a lot of our partners. We need to have a come to Jesus talk. And a come to Jesus talk is one of those serious, life-changing, epiphanic kind of talks where you say, you know what, either you deal with this or you go to hell. But you know, essentially, we got to deal with this. We cannot ignore this anymore. It's the elephant in the room. Let's address it. I have found in my own life that addressing elephants in the room is the most healthy position ever. I have ever. It's so empowering. I just don't believe in hypocrisy and pretending all is well when you're not happy with a particular development. I don't believe in that. I believe in having a face-to-face, let's talk about this thing. Let's come to Jesus today and talk about this type of situation. I'm big on that. Let's address the problem. You're not happy, I'm not happy, fine. Let's sit down. What's the issue? Let's deal with all the issues. I wasn't happy that day. You were not happy that day. I was not happy. You were not happy. All right, so where do we find the middle ground? Work it out, find the middle ground, done. If it's so touchy and so sensitive, look for a mediator, look for somebody that's mature and adult, and then get them into the picture and let them have the discussion. But my point is very simple. Let's deal with the issue. Face on. Don't be a prison of solidarity. Don't be in a prison of solidarity. Don't be at a place where you know you're not progressing. Don't be at a place where you know you're not going anywhere. And you hate that fact, but you're too guilty to leave because you are afraid it will hurt everybody. I know this. I know this. So, prison of solidarity. How many of you are in prisons of solidarity? You gotta break free, my friends. Because if you don't break free, this will be your undoing. You will remain there for life. Okay? Healing help, I like what she says. It's a very, well, let me just highlight. It's a very uncomfortable conversation. That's what I say. In person, that increases the health of the relationship between the two. So it's true. So you just got to make that choice and do it. So let's go to the last one, which I call coerced confinement. This is another powerful one. Now, in the prison of solidarity, you're guilty. But listen to this one. In coerced confinement, you could leave, but whenever you try, someone uses manipulation to rope you back in or threatens you with bad consequences if you leave. Oh, my. How many of us know that one? I'm a charismatic Pentecostal. This is the staple of most of our pastors. I'm sorry to say it, but look, I'm at a level where I don't really care what people think and let them call me whatever they want to call me. But this is a staple of many Pentecostal and Christian guys, you know, pastors and men of God, women of God. They love this. But let me give you some examples. These are a bit deep, but okay, before I give my examples, let me focus a bit on this one. First, I'll talk about the pastors, then we'll talk about the other scenarios. And now with the pastors, what do? They start telling you, your blessing is tied to me. You know, like they do the whole, I'm your blessing. If you detach from me, you detach from the source. Like, really? Does the Bible say a human being has become a source? Now, I understand the power of relationship capital. Okay? I understand the idea of trust capital, but especially relationship and social capital. These two depend on human beings. But those human beings are conduits. They are facilitators. A facilitator is not a source. A facilitator is like a mirror. You know, Lucifer got too pompous and too proud and actually began to think he is the source. You see, he was reflecting the glory of God as he did whatever he did, and pride got to his head to a point where he thought he was the Most High. And he decided he's going to ascend to the level of the Most High. That was very unfortunate. What people don't understand is that when we operate in the true likeness of God, we're like mirrors. We reflect God. That's why Malachi chapter 3 verse 3 says, I will sit as a refiner over silver, and I will purge you with the fire so that you may produce righteousness. What's the idea behind it? When God looks in the silver ore that's already, you know, been purified, he sees his reflection. Then he knows the silver is ready. I love that. He sees his reflection. So are you reflecting God, or are you reflecting you? And that the problem with most of our pastors who are into this abusive, manipulative type of arrangement is that they become the source. They think they are the source. I have news for you, and I have news for everyone who's been trapped in this thing. Your pastor, your apostle, your teacher, whoever it is, even I'm not your source. Your source is Jesus Christ. For those who are believers in Christianity, your source is God. End of story. We are all just mirrors reflecting God and doing our best to do that. Sometimes we get carried away and we start thinking it's us, but truly speaking, that is wrong. It's never the servant. The servant is just a representative of their master. And so a lot of people have been caught in coerced confinement because they are manipulated by these pastors into believing that if you leave, you will die. And they do sermons. They even stand in front of a church. No one is going to leave. If you leave, you will be disconnected. And now remember the belief trap? You remember the belief trap? These guys understand that the belief trap is so powerful that if I teach and plant that seed into believers at their formative stage, they will believe it. And when you believe something, it becomes. Yes, there are people, I disconnected and things went wrong. Of course, because you believed what that man told you. That's what I call sorcery. They used sorcery to make you believe. And now you believe, and everything happens according to their word because you've been enchanted. That's what sorcery does. It enchants. So I'm here to give you freedom and to tell you that coerced confinement is a psychological trap used by manipulators. Now let's use two other examples here to give further insight. Now, in example number 1, your spouse is abusive and threatens to spread terrible lies about you and turn all your friends against you if you leave. Understandably, this threat keeps you from leaving, even though in actuality you would probably prefer that you left. Okay, so if you and the truth of the matter is that even if you go through the threat, it's still okay. You'd rather leave. But the problem is, because they're such powerful manipulators and they threaten you. If you go this, if you go that, if you go this, and they use those as traps. And there are so many people today I know, you're listening to me right now, you know you are in an abusive relationship. You know that you are getting the short end of the deal in whatever you're doing. And you know you ought to leave, but you never do. Because you are afraid, you have been manipulated, you have been coerced to stay. Okay? And in a second example, you keep trying to quit the job you hate. So you hate this job. Whenever you do, your boss makes you feel terrible, convincing you that you're being ungrateful for everything the job has done for you and that you owe it to the company to stay. In fact, in a number of instances, I have seen cases where, sorry, again, my phone has done its thing. Oh my goodness. I need to work on this. Sorry. So you leave, you know you're supposed to leave. I mean, time has come to leave, but you're not leaving because you're so afraid. Oh my God, what if? And then there's some really manipulative people that will even say, oh, when you go, my friend, when you go, I will never give you a reference. In fact, you remember last time when you stopped, I forgave you. And this is how you're thanking me? This is how you're thanking me? Very ungrateful. Very ungrateful. So, manipulators are like that. They will always look for some way to scare the bejesus out of you. And so you are in confined, what did I call it again? Coerced confinement. Yeah, coerced confinement. My brother Glenn has written something very powerful here. What does he say? Oh, yeah, he's agreeing. Yes. So he's saying that we need to break. Let me put his post again because it's literally covering my whole face. So we need to break free. We need to come out of this. We need to decide that we're going to do what it takes to be free. And my episode today, I'm going to be a bit unconventional. So I'm breaking my convention. I'm going to ask you to do something profound. I asked the question, how many of you are in coerced confinement? How many of you are in prisons of solidarity? I noted, interestingly, that everybody who answered said, no. So the power of social conformity is that when a whole bunch starts saying no, then everybody those with the yeses keep quiet. They don't say because they don't want people to say. Because, if in case the person that you're fearing looks, they go, you're in coerced confinement. Who's coercing you to, you know what I mean? Prison of solidarity. Which one? Who is this prison? So it's a very uncomfortable conversation. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do something very unconventional. I want you to take your pen and paper, and I want you, those of you that know that you're in confined, the two, namely, where is it now? Namely the prison of solidarity or the coerced confinement. If you know you're in this, I want you to do something. I want you to write on that paper, not here on the chat because I know you won't do it. So I want you to write on that piece of paper who it is that is causing, let's start with prisons of solidarity. Who is it that is causing you to not take steps forward? Because you feel sorry, you feel obliged, you feel like you owe these people, so you need to kind of remain with them in their pit. Who is that person? I want you to write their name down on that piece of paper. And I mean it. I'm literally waiting for you. I want you to write that name, that down on a piece of paper. Why am I asking you to do that? Because I know for a fact that this is going to be one of the most powerful things. I like that Auntie Sylvia. Okay, she typed it directly in my chat. She was saying, "Oh, these are mindset change issues. So cool." In MCP, we use the mirror. I love that. The mirror. You are your greatest enemy. So I want you to write that down. I'm dead serious. I want you to write that person. So we're still dealing with prisons of solidarity. So we're saying, who's this person holding you back? Who is this person in your life that you feel so sorry for that you're not progressing because you feel guilty that if you're going to leave them, they will drown, they will die. So you are where you are now because you're being of solidarity, you're with them. You're kind of helping them through. Who's that person? I want you to write that down and I'll tell you what to do with that one. Then number 2, in coerced confinement, if you're listening to me and you're one of those who is actually bound in a coerced confinement relationship. In other words, you should have left, but you haven't. And everybody's kind of pushing. You know, that one is so bad. There are some people right now, I'm aware, who are even about to marry. Now, I'm not speaking this prophetically. I'm just saying it, knowing by chance and probability that there's definitely some of you there. Who are those people that are binding you? I want you to write their name down. I want you to write on your piece of paper the name. This is now coerced confinement. You know you should exit this setup, but they are using manipulation because they are at a place of superiority. So if you notice, in the first one, in the prison of solidarity, they are at a place of inferiority. You are higher than them, and you're feeling sorry for them. In coerced confinement, it's the other way around. They are in a place of superiority, and you're under them. Have you seen that? You want to leave, but you respect them, you fear them, and you don't know what to do. And I can tell you this with certainty. I've been there. I had to make some very hard decisions in the last 10 years. Very, very hard decisions. One of them, I suffered. I got serious backlash. It cost, it was a terrible relationship for 2 years, but I just had to do it. Okay, there you go. I won't highlight your conversation, Michelle, just in case, but you know what but I agree with you. And you know, we gotta get to that point where we have to break free. So if you're in the second group and you've written, write down that name. Now, here's what I want you to do, and I'm closing. I want you to sit down, and if you're a Christian like me, I want you to pray about it. Pray and tell God, God, give me the wisdom on how I can exit. One of my favorite examples, okay, it wasn't an exit, but he knew he had done wrong and now he had to meet his brother and he was freaked out, but it worked so well, was Jacob in the Bible. So Jacob now had to go meet Esau, who he stole the birthright from some years back, some decades back actually. So he knew now he had to go meet the brother. So there's stuff he did there. And he prayed, and it was a very powerful encounter. But for me, I'm saying a number of you here, you're even feeling me right now in terms of your heart. Your hearts are pumping because you're thinking, oh my God, how am I going to do this? I'm here to tell you, pray about it. And after you've done your prayers, ask for the courage. And after asking for the courage, if need be, go consult some elders. Especially, just go consult some elders. The Bible says in the multitude of counselors, there's victory and safety. So if you need to consult elders, consult them. But go see some people and say, hey guys, listen, I've got this friend of mine, he's been a drag. Oh, I've got this elder of mine, he's been an absolute terrorist or whatever it is, and I need to exit. What do I do? You will be guided what to do. And there is no exit that's ever not painful. Let me stress that right away. There's no exit, listen to me, there's no exit that doesn't come with pain. The only issue is how painful will it be? It will vary according to people, but to come with pain, it'll come with pain. And so it'll be up to you. Would you rather continue in the discomfort you're in now, or would you rather lose the limb and just go face the future? With both of these, I end with Jesus' statement. Very powerful. If your eye causes you to sin, it is better that it were plucked out and that you enter the kingdom of heaven with one eye than with your whole body to be in hell. And if your limb causes you to sin, cut it off. For it is better to enter maimed and lame in the kingdom than for your whole body to be in hell. I find Jesus' statement so profound because that's what many of us need to do. We need to carry out some surgery. Now, if you want to be very specific about how that surgery is carried out, you can follow the links. There's my phone number there. It's on the scroll at the bottom. You can reach out. We have our coaching program. there's ways you can come out. And of course, we can't go into the details of how you can come out here. But I assure you, there's ways you can come out. But to come out, you must. Unless you're willing to say, that's the cross I'll carry all my life. If that's your cross, I'm with you. But remember, it is a prison of solidarity or it's a coerced confinement. One or the other. It is manipulative, it is painful, and that's why you have no peace. But where you have total peace, it means that's a God assignment. And the difference is you bear that cross without any kind of dissuasion. But for most people, I know for a fact that most people are in a very bad place and they wish they could come out. And that's why they go and spend all those hours praying, because they want to come out. And so if you're one of those, well, this is your deliverance. And so join us tomorrow again, same time, same place. It'll be Aunt Sylvia. She'll probably be coming with some very exciting angle, which might build on this. But for me, I want you guys to know that in my next presentation, we're looking at a very, very interesting third component of these prisons. It's called the avoidance and desire trap. So these are pits of fear and pits of pleasure. Very, very interesting pits, which a lot of people have been bound in as well. For myself, have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again. Take care.